This week in Sometimes I Look Up Stuff on Google and then I end up making a video just like someone else's video, but by also using their video as a source. Boobs. I scream, you scream, we all scream for boobs. That's how that rhyme goes, isn't it? That's the proper way. Everyone likes a good boob or pair of boobs, and how can you not? Because, well, they're great, aren't they? And there are all sorts of different types of boobs as well. There are booby traps and boobies as in birds and boobies as in breasts, and also, as I was reminded earlier on by Let's Talk Books from Indie Author Central, there are also hairy boobs, which, I mean, they're not for me. First of all, before we go any further, I'd just like to point out that my copy of Viz's Profanosaurus Rex here, my sort of old edition of it, actually does list boobs and boobies, but they just, as you can see, they just refer to one another. Boobies see boobs, boobs see boobies. Presumably because if you are a professional swearing person, which is what this book is aimed at, it's a professional manual for swearing, then you wouldn't need, I mean, why would you ever look those things up? Boobies. I mean, it's just such a voluptuous word, don't you think? Anyway, shall we start with the phrase booby trap? This particular phrase can trace its roots right back to Latin, the Latin balbus, which is another word for a stammerer, basically, so spelt B-A-L-B-U-S. The Romans believed that this, someone who stammered was a sign of stupidity, so this got transitioned over to Spanish, the word bobo or bobo, B-O-B-O. This is a word meaning stupid or naive or a bit of a fool. I should point out at this stage that a stammer or a stutter is not a sign of stupidity. Stupidity is a sign of stupidity. So anyway, boo-boo or bobo or bobo, which has just suddenly occurred to me as the name of Yogi Bear's sidekick, Smaller Bear, who wears a little hat as well and is quite timid and maybe a bit naive, so maybe that's where that comes from. I should have looked that up. Anyway, boo-boo or bobo or bobo makes its way over to English, where its first recorded use was in Chambers's journal in 1868. In it, they use an example of I'll just read the quote, shall I? A booby trap. It consisted of books, boots, etc., balanced on the top of a door, which was left ajar, so that the first incomer got a solid shower bath of... I don't know why it says shower bath, presumably because there was water in the books. Heading on into the 20th century, this term became used widely during World War I to refer to traps which were, it was World War I, so they were deadly. So what started out as schoolboy pranks quickly became deadly gas and spikes and such, and explosives as well. So what about the birds, the booby birds? Boobies are a tropical bird which nest on the ground. They hunt by getting high up in the air, and then they spot a fish or a squid near the surface of the water, and then they dive really steep and fast to catch that, and they dive right into the water, they catch it, and then they come back out. However, because they nest on the ground, the first Europeans who discovered them, which is a stupid way to put it, because it's not a stupid way, because they were the first Europeans to discover them, found them very easy to catch. They found them that they couldn't run very well, and they were not afraid of humans, so they called them boobies, as in the Spanish for a fool or a naive or stupid person, which is very revealing of the human race, I think, that something which didn't immediately turn away and run, we called it a fool. So boobs as in breasts, what does that mean? Does that mean that they are fools? I mean, they make me a fool, that's for sure. That was terrible. I put it in the script, and I wrote it, and as soon as I wrote it, and then as soon as I later on just now said it, I realised that I'm a bad person. Anyway, boobs are another example of a homophone, i.e. two or more words which have the same sound but different meanings. The etymology of boobs, as in breasts, is contested, but it's most likely from the Latin bubba, which in turn is from papa, which means little girls. The alternative explanation is that it comes from the French pooper, poop, P-O-U-P-E. I don't know how to say that. I haven't even looked it up, so, go and look it up. Poop, meaning nipples, basically. Or teat. This seems fairly likely, as the term boobs is actually an Americanism, and considering the influence that French culture has had on the Americans, or the United States in particular, it seems that it probably did come from something in French, maybe. The English, by the way, or the British, by the way, prefer the term tits. That's probably another video for another time, though. If you like this video, then maybe give me a subscribe on YouTube, or maybe do a follow on Instagram or on Facebook. Do a little like, and then you'll see any updates. I'm currently updating all of my older videos, so you'll get a steady stream of worse videos into your eyeballs, and then we can all be happy, can't we? Till next time, take care of yourselves. Or don't. I mean, whatever makes you happy. I mean, unless you're a masochist, in which case